Your Rangers have played a better brand of baseball to begin the second half, and the tone was set last Friday in Toronto. Yu Darvish came back from the All-Star break ready to help his team pick themselves up from an awful first half, and his dominating performance was a great beginning. Darvish takes to the Big Apple stage tonight when the Rangers meet the New York Yankees next. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. Well, a breezy, cloudy night here at Yankee Stadium. Each team in this series has won a game. And tonight the Rangers have their big horse on the mound as they try to make it 2 out of 3 over the New York Yankees. And welcome in, everyone, along with Mark McLemore, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us for this Wednesday night of Rangers baseball. Rangers and the Yankees coming up. And indeed, tonight it is Yu Darvish, and an improved Yu Darvish. Last time out in Toronto, he was spectacular. And the Rangers hope again, Mac, that they have the Yu Darvish out there tonight.
They really do. Over his last few outings, Yu Darvish has pitched like the ace that he is, and he's trying to help this ball club turn things around. And if the Rangers are going to turn things around, Yu Darvish is going to have to be a big part of it. His last 3 starts, he's 2-0 with a 1.35 ERA, only giving up 3 earned runs in those 20 innings, and all 3 of those have been solo home runs. So if he continues to pitch this way, you can look for him to continue to be dominant.
And he's looking for his first win in this ballpark. He has not beaten the Yankees on this turf, and he'll go out there tonight trying to even that score. So Yu Darvish and the Rangers getting set to take on the Yankees. Alex Rios back in the lineup tonight for Ron Washington's ball club. It'll be Rios, the Rangers, taking on the New York Yankees. We'll have the starting lineup for the first pitch right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Ball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. By AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIT-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Now, the threat of rain later on tonight, and they varied reports anywhere from 40 to 60% chance, but not for a few more hours. So hopefully the Rangers and Yankees will be able to play this ball game uninterrupted tonight. This Wednesday night of Ranger baseball, Rangers come in 40-60. They are 20 games under 500. They have not been 21 under 500 since back in the 2003 season.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So this Ranger ball club trying to stay away from that mark. That's not one they want to touch. They played well. They, of course, lost last night in 14 innings by a 2-1 count. But Yankees having trouble the same way the Rangers are about scoring runs. And now the folks standing, here's our national anthem. Traditions here at Yankee Stadium, the great Robert Merrill, the recording of him singing the national anthem. I can remember the days when he would be here in person singing the national anthem prior to Yankee games. So just one of those things that the Big Apple has for its baseball fans, that tradition. Let's head down to the field now and check in with John Rhadigan. John?
Yeah, Buzz, Chris Jimenez has such a great attitude. When Giovanni Soto was healthy, he was embracing his role as a utility infielder, but unfortunately Gio got hurt again. Jimenez is a catcher again, and he admits that's his favorite position.
It's going to be just business as usual. It's, it's actually been like 2 weeks since I've caught in a game, but, I still catch bullpens all the time and stuff like that. And I was down in the bullpen for like 12 innings yesterday, so I thought I was actually going to have to pitch again there for a while, and I was praying I didn't have to. But, no, I mean, really, it's just kind of getting back to that same routine and, letting your what you do, your preparation kind of take over from there.
I think we're all glad he didn't have to pitch last night, although he may have been next if this thing had gone much longer. As it is, he's back behind the plate, back in the saddle. He caught 9 games, more than any other Rangers catcher that Yu Darvish has thrown. The record 5-3 when he's behind the plate with Darvish on the mound, guys. Back up to you.
All right, John, thank you. And we'll see how that shakes out tonight. Yu Darvish trying to make it 2 in a row as he had a great outing last time out against the Blue Jays. Southwest Airlines bringing you the Texas Rangers starting lineup tonight. Shin-Soo Choo will lead off. He again is in left field. Elvis Andrus at shortstop. Alex Rios back in the lineup playing right and hitting third. Adrian Beltre, the cleanup man. Jim Adducci gets the start at first base tonight with J.P. Arancibia DHing. Hitting seventh, the center fielder Leonis Martin. Chris Jimenez catches. And Rougned Odor bats ninth and plays second.
And the Sonic scouting report on David Phelps. He's got 4-4 record with a 3.8 ERA in 23 games. His home starts, he's got a 2.5 ERA in the last 7 home starts. He's tied for second in pickoffs since 2012 with 9. On his last outing against Cincinnati, going 6 1/3 inning. So David Phelps, pretty good pitcher for the Yankees.
Yeah, the 27-year-old from the St. Louis area, David Phelps, will be backed up by this defense and is brought to you by Progressive. Outfield, same as in the first night here. Brett Gardner in left, Jacoby Ellsbury in center, and Ichiro is in right. McCann at first, Brendan Ryan the start at second base, Derek Jeter at short. Chase Headley his first Yankee start. And And behind the plate, Francisco Cervelli. Ready to get underway. Shin-Soo Choo steps in. And David Phelps, with the first offering of the night, misses inside for ball one. Choo, 240 with the average, 9 home runs, and 34 RBI. That on-base percentage pretty much steady right now, about in the mid-350s. It had been, if you remember, as high as 450s, but it has been a tough couple of months for Shin-Soo Choo. And that pitch outside is 2 balls and a strike. David Phelps, I mentioned, a 27-year-old. He went to Notre Dame, played his college ball for the Fighting Irish. And Choo up the middle, but with the shift on, that's where Jeter is stationed. 1 gone. Almost a carbon copy of the ball that Choo hit last night that went for a base hit. But tonight, he's a little bit different defensive alignment, so Choo is thrown out. 6-3 on the scorecard, and Elvis Andrus will be next.
Yeah, Choo hit that ball pretty hard back up the middle, like you said last night. Carbon copy of the couple of hits he got last night. Right up the middle, but with that shift, Jeter's playing right there. And there's the first out.
Elvis at 261. Minimum number of at-bats against David Phelps in the past. 2 for 3 for Elvis. And Phelps, a strike on the outside corner. Right-hander working quickly back to the plate. And tried to get the breaking ball to the inside part of the plate and missed. And the count evens at 1-1. Elvis 0 for his last 9 times to the plate. So he has been on the downturn of that roller coaster ride. It's one to right field. Ichiro, though, had him played perfectly. A step in and reaches up for the grab. 2 gone. Both the leadoff man Choo and Andrus hitting the ball on the button, but right at Yankee defenders.
Well, I like to see that early. Both guys being aggressive, hitting the ball hard. Unfortunately, right at people, but you'd like to see that those first few batters, if they're on. Usually, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and you said, Mac, before that that's one thing you can take a little bit of solace in, even if you don't get a base hit, is that you had a good at bat, you hit the ball solidly, and build from there.
Right. I mean, that's really all you can do is just put a good bat, put a good at bat together, hit the ball hard. You can't really guide it where the ball goes. You just have to hit it hard somewhere and hopefully it finds some grass.
0-1 pitch to Rios. That's not going to find some grass. Had a rope into left field, and Gardner plays it on the second hop. Welcome back into the lineup, Alex Rios. That ankle not giving any problems on that at bat. A 2-out single. Rios aboard now for Adrian Beltre.
Rios looked real good on that. It's a fastball from Phelps right down the middle. Looks like it's sinking a little bit to the inside part of the plate. And Rios just drops that head on it. Doesn't look like he's having any ill effects from that ankle turn from a few days ago.
Remember that first at bat that Rios had on Saturday. He had an awkward swing and rolled that ankle, and he was out for a couple of games. Back in there tonight. Rangers are glad to have him. Here's Beltre, a .325 hitter. And Phelps, just in case Rios was feeling a little frisky over there, driving him back. 14 home runs, 53 driven in for the Rangers all-star third baseman. Big breaking ball, and it's in for strike 1. Adrian, though, also in a downturn. Ranger offense in pretty much of a downturn. Beltre just 2 for his last 18 times to the plate. And on this road trip, the first 5 games of this trip, he's just 4 for 23. Rios stepping the lead off. Phelps reading the signs. Right-hander sets up the letters, and again tossing to first. Rangers, the first 5 games of this trip as a team, hitting just .244. Overall, they're 259, which is good for 6th in the American League. Outside, 1-1 now to Beltre.
Well, let's take a look at first base and second base, and this is what the Yankees do for their base stealers. Jacoby Ellsbury, Jeter, and Gardner. They don't really wet down first base and second base, sliding into second base because they don't want it too slick and have them go over, and not really wetting down first base gives them that opportunity to get some good footing, some good traction, and not slip on those first couple of steps. So that's done specifically for their ball club. And, you know, you really don't see too many teams anymore tailor their field, their home park, to their personnel.
Yeah.
They used to do a lot of that back in the day, whether it was the third base line, first base line, whatever it was.
There goes Rios, and he's caught the tag slapped down by Brendan Ryan. Apparently it got Alex on the shoulders. He was sliding by. And Ron Washington is going to head out to second base. I don't think the skipper was all that sure that he had put the tag down. And Ron Washington going out. You saw that Tim Bogart got the word from Joey Probinski upstairs in the video room. And the thumbs up. And Wash go out there and challenge that play. And he's going to talk to second base umpire who made the call, and that's C.B. Buckner.
Right, but C.B. Buckner is not really in a great position. The only place he can really be in, but from his angle, looking at that, it does look like Brendan Ryan tagged Alex Rios on the back, but from a different angle, you probably looks like he missed him there, and then from that angle, didn't really see him. And that's really the only place C.B. Buckner can be in.
Right.
Can't really get a good look from that angle, but from a side angle, maybe the first base view, you can probably get a better look. But from this angle here, which is C.B. Buckner's angle, kind of looks like he tagged him there.
Yeah, it does. So Buckner and the crew chief, Dale Scott, who happens to be the home plate umpire tonight, hooked up with the headsets to the replay command center. Ball on the field is out at second base. And, Ron Washington issuing the challenge. C.B. Buckner's call, and we'll see if that's overturned. Rangers on this trip have had a couple of calls overturned, and it has, at least the one in Toronto, led immediately to a couple of runs. So we'd kind of like to see that happen here tonight. Now, you have to have clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call, and we'll see what the replay center has come up with. He is going to be out, so the call stands on the field, and the Rangers are gone in the top of the first. No runs to hit and nobody left after a half inning. Rangers nothing, Yankees coming up. Down trying to steal second. Well, the Yankees will come to bat against Yu Darvish, and we'll take a look at Joe Girardi's lineup tonight. Brett Gardner, the left fielder, leads off. Derek Jeter is next. Then it's the center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Carlos Beltran again DHing. Brian McCann at first. Chase Headley in the starting lineup for the first time as a Yankee. He bats sixth. Ichiro is in right field. Francisco Cervelli catches. And Brendan Ryan gets the start at second. He bats ninth.
The Sonic scouting report on Yu Darvish comes in with a 9-5 record at 2.88 ERA in 18 starts this year. And his 11.3 strikeouts per 9 innings has him second in the major leagues. He won his last outing against Toronto 5-1, going 6 2/3 innings. Only gave up 5 hits.
Well, we'll see if Darvish can get the ball club deep into the game. That's his stated goal, to improve upon that. Get the club into the 7th and 8th inning a little more frequently. We'll see if he's able to do that here tonight. Brett Gardner to lead things off for the Yankees. Gardner, a .277 average, 9 home runs, and 40 driven in. First pitch from Darvish is a little bit outside for ball one. I mentioned Darvish, 2-0 with a 1.35 ERA in his career. 3 starts against the Yankees. He's only started 1 time here and took a no decision. And that pitch fouled back right below Mack. Mack was in and out. Had his harness on and couldn't reach it. Got a good jump on that one, though. Say that.
I did. Almost. Back in the day, I might have got that.
Yeah.
A little slower now. A lot slower.
A little smarter, too. 1-1 pitch. Now 2-1. Darvish, that only start came last year, last June, here at Yankee Stadium. The Rangers ended up losing that ball game, but Darvish, a no decision in 5 1/3. He gave up 7 hits and 3 runs to the Yankees. That's on the outside corner for a strike, and it evens things up at 2-2. Darvish, the 27-year-old. Trying to get to double figures in wins. He comes in at 9-5. Slow breaking ball. We'll see you later. Gardner got mesmerized by that off-speed hook from Yu Darvish. The Ranger right-hander gets his first strikeout.
Well, it looks like Darvish's curveball is working. This is the first one we've seen, and my goodness, that had some kind of break on it. Throws Brett Gardner right there, and he knows that strike 3.
Be a lot of muttering going on from Brett Gardner on the way back to the dugout.
You might just say one word. Really?
Yeah.
Already? Yeah.
Here's Derek Jeter. Darvish, this is down and away for ball one. Jeter, a .272 average with a couple of home runs. Has driven in 27. And again, folks, if you want to be there for next Wednesday's game, a week from tonight, the Yankees will be in town finishing up that 3-game series against the Rangers. And the Rangers are going to honor Derek Jeter prior to the ball game. So get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers. Rougned Odor calling everybody off. The second baseman makes the grab. That is out number 2. Take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense, delivered to you by Chicken Express. Outfield tonight, back to normal. Chu in left, Martin in center, Rios is in right, Jim Adducci. The start at first base. Salvador at second, Andrus at short. Adrian Beltre at the hot corner, and Chris Jimenez behind the plate, handling Yu Darvish. 2 up, 2 away. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury to face Darvish.
No, but one of the things that made Darvish, or has been enabling Darvish to go deeper into the game these last couple of starts, is his ability to be aggressive early and throw strikes and not go 3-2 to every batter.
Getting ahead like that.
Exactly.
Fastball down and away. And normally you would say, well, the Yankees would probably give him a tough time because of all the pitches they see. This isn't the typical Yankee ball club.
No, this isn't. This is a much different ball club than they anticipated having, much like the Rangers.
Right. Injuries have decimated the ranks of Joe Girardi's club, just much the way the Rangers have been decimated. A little more offensively challenged, the Yankees. And they, just as an example, their on-base percentage as a team is .314, and that is 12th in the American League. Normally, they're up in the top 2 or 3 of the American League every single year. 1-1 pitch, and that breaking ball comes through the back door. But still formidable. They get pretty good pitching, especially from the younger pitchers that they have out there, and they can still do a little damage in this ballpark. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Darvish looks in for the sign. Got him swinging. Good hard breaking ball that time. Couple of strikeouts in the inning. The Yankees are gone. 1-2-3. We'll go to the second. Rangers nothing, Yankees nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Capital One Bank will feature Rangers Hall of Famer Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. And that event is coming up on Saturday, September the 6th. Yes, we'll pose with Pudge for some photos and hear from him in an exclusive question and answer session. Plus, you get tickets for the Rangers game that night. To purchase tickets, just go to TexasRangers.com/foundations. Great series, and good to see Pudge. Really involved with the ball club where he made his name and had so many great years. Fan favorite in North Texas. Still a fan favorite.
He really is. It's great to see him around. It's great to do some shows with him. And I know it's got to be great for the guys on the ball club to get to be around him and get some knowledge from him.
Chase Headley takes care of the 2-hopper from Adrian Beltre for out number 1. Yeah, when you have guys around like yourself and Pudge Rodriguez and Benji Molina, and you don't ask questions if you're a young player, boy, you're missing a golden opportunity. A lot of information can be had just at the expense of one question.
Right. There's a ton of information that's out there that's available, and there's some guys on the club that like to talk, and when I say talk, like to talk baseball, and it's fun being around the guys and the team and just being able to talk baseball. Nothing specific, but just baseball situations, things like that. That's a lot of fun.
0-1 the count to Jim Adduci, hitting 5th. And Adduci with those numbers, .304 the average. Little tapper out in front of the home plate. Cervelli, good quick throw. He got the speedy Adducci for out number 2. Pretty quick hops by Cervelli to get out there and get Adducci on that play. That's not an easy play.
No, that's not an easy play. Come out from behind that plate, then barehand that ball while you're on the move. Get your body in position to make a strong throw to first base. Nice play by Cervelli.
Well, very quickly, there are 2 outs here in the Rangers' second, and it brings up J.P. Arancibia. J.P. handling the DH chores tonight. 1 for 6 last night. That one was a big home run. Got the Rangers ahead in the 13th inning. Unfortunately, they couldn't put the game away. 1 ball, no strikes. Arancibia now with 3 home runs, 10 RBI, 2 of his last 3 hits. As you'll notice, left the ballpark. Phelps to the wind, the 1-0 pitch. Notice that little note we had for you, Arancibia 1 for 9 against Phelps. Well, that one was a home run. Drove in a couple. 2-1 now.
One thing JP's been doing since he's been back, he's been being very aggressive at the plate. He's going up there taking his hacks, taking his cuts, and not just sitting around waiting on the perfect pitch. He's going up there and he's letting it rip.
Phelps back to him. And that's just off the corner. 3 balls and a strike. Well, Arancibia trying to get aboard here with 2 outs in the second. Leonis Martin, the Rangers center fielder, will be next. Phelps into the wind, the 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2. Arancibia, of course, playing on those Blue Jay teams, had a lot of matchups with the Yankees, so he's very familiar with how the Yankees go about things. Payoff pitch is skied to center field. Jacoby Ellsbury in and over to his right, makes the grab, and that will do it. Rangers out in order, and after 1.5, it's the Rangers nothing and the Yankees nothing from Yankee Stadium. On one of our upcoming broadcasts. That's thanks to the good folks at AT&T who have made this possible. Just use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and your photo might be selected to be aired during one of our upcoming broadcasts. We will show you tonight's selection a little bit later on in the ballgame. Yu Darvish back to the hill. The Yankees come to bat in the bottom of the second. Scoreless ball game. Darvish sent the Bronx Bombers down in order in the first. A couple of strikeouts. Carlos Beltran, the designated hitter, will lead things off. Beltran, a switch hitter, hitting from the left side. Goes after the first pitch and hits a rocket on one hop. And a deucey picks it clean. One out. That'll keep the pitch count down.
That'll keep the pitch count down, and that'll keep the infield alert. Beltran gets a fastball, jumps on that first fastball inside from Darvish, and it's a one hopper right at Ducey. Nice play.
No, with Beltran disposed of, here's Brian McCann. McCann, a .241 average, 10 home runs, 41 driven in. He was bemoaning the fact prior to the All-Star break, he just has not gotten comfortable since he signed that 5-year contract with the Yankees as a big free agent acquisition. Just not. It almost sounded like he was afraid he wasn't going to be able to live up to it in the very near term. He's too much of a quality hitter to believe that's going to be the case. But until the problem that Brian McCann and a lot of guys have with long-term contracts, the expectations, sometimes a little bit more than they're quite ready to handle. 0-2 pitch from Darvish to left field. That is slicing down the line into the corner and goes foul.
You know, a lot of times when a guy comes over, switches leagues, even though there's interleague play, you don't face, the guys from the other league that much. So a lot of it too has to do with, getting familiar with new pitchers that you don't see a lot of, guys out of the bullpen, starters. You just don't see enough of them to be used to them. So a lot of that can be, chalked up to just, hey, it's a transition.
Shot for foul the other way. I think it's harder on a pitcher or a hitter to change leagues.
I think it's harder on a hitter to change leagues. I mean, that pitcher always has the advantage when when they're facing somebody for the first time. So, you take Brian McCann, he's facing pretty much all of these guys in the American League for the first time.
I agree with you. I think that's the case. Chop foul. And the way it looks, at least the last, I'll say, 15 years or so, it looks like it's more difficult to go for a hitter to go from the National League to the American League than it is the other way around.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is too. And you look at hitters that go from the American League to the National League, they tend to do well. It doesn't take them as long to make that adjustment, that transition.
Still 0-2 to McCann as Darvish sets. Jammed him, a little pop-up out toward shallow right. Odor was playing fairly deep anyway. Makes the catch. That is out number 2. And the first 5 have gone down at the hands of Yu Darvish and his defense. Now Chase Headley will come up.
Darvish is doing a good job of keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate so far. And he's filling that strike zone up with quality strikes. 14 strikes against 4 balls. So he's doing a very good job of staying in or out or down in the zone.
2 gone. Headley taking outside for ball 1. Chase Headley coming over from the Padres yesterday, as a matter of fact. Got here just right at game time. Had the game-winning walk-off hit last night in the 14th. Went 1 for 4 when he entered the game last night as a pinch hitter. He hits it toward right center field. Rios going over. It's by him and to the wall. Headley cruising into second with a 2-out double. And he is the first Yankee base runner of the night. Chase Headley hitting a bolt up the alley for the 2-bagger.
Darvish trying to go down and away and left that one just up just a little bit in the zone. Right down the middle pretty much. And Headley drops the head on it and drives it into right center field for a double.
Now Headley had the advantage of having seen Darvish when Yu pitched against the Padres couple of years ago, so that wasn't exactly a foreign matchup for him. Now here's Ichiro, and Chris Jimenez was crossed up. That pitch, Jimenez was thinking about, was expecting a fastball. Unfortunately, it was a breaking ball, so he could adjust to it. If he's looking for breaking ball and gets a fastball, that thing's to the backstop.
I'm surprised he was able to catch that one.
Too.
That's his hard one, too.
I am too. Fastball is high. I'm also surprised he didn't go out there and say something to Yu Darvish.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Typically, when a catcher gets crossed up, he goes out there and they go over the sign and say, hey, okay, what are we supposed to be doing? But, yeah, Jimenez didn't go out there this time.
If nothing else, go out there and get that lump out of your throat. You got to have one after seeing all kinds of things flash before your eyes. 2-0 pitch. And that is a strike. Pops out of the glove of Jimenez. 2-1 now. Well, Darvish facing an old nemesis here. And granted, Ichiro is not the same Ichiro that we saw 2 or 3 years ago. But Suzuki is a .412 hitter against Yu Darvish. 7 for 17. Darvish a check of second and the 2-1. Ichiro, not nearly the same hitter what we've seen him in this series. It's like, well, I'm not going to say age has caught up with him. I don't know what's caught up with him, but he's not the same kind of hitter that he was even last year.
No, he's not the same hitter. And, you know, there could be a lot of different reasons for it. Yes, he's getting up there. I think he's 39 now.
And Darvish just overpowers him. So Yu gets his third strikeout. Strands Headley at second after the double. We'll go to the third inning. It's still the Rangers nothing and the Yankees nothing. On your favorite mobile phone or tablet, you get live look-ins and instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and a lot more. Download on the App Store or visit TexasRangers.com today. Well, you mentioned there was a cross-up first pitch after Chase Headley got into second base. And Darvish and Chris Jimenez talking about it. They're talking about the series of signs, and depending on what series they're using, and different pitchers use different series. Now, you can have an indicator that is taken off the scoreboard someplace, or the number, whether it's an odd count or an even count, all kinds of different things. And well, if you're not on the same page, you can both look kind of foolish.
Yeah, it can be ugly. You know, starting pitchers tend to have a bigger range of indicators that they use as opposed to relievers. Relievers don't use that, they don't vary them that much. The guys that I really didn't like were the guys that did the hand signs.
No finger counts, just hand signs.
Yeah. I was pretty good at picking up and stealing signs, except those. When a guy did that, I was forget it. That's
Whatever.
Too much, yeah.
I'll let you know what he throws after he throws it. Well, Leonis Martin, a leadoff single, a solid base hit to right center field.
He's got a fastball from Phelps right down the middle. Didn't miss that one.
Well, Leonis with a couple of hits last night. And he leads off the Ranger third with a base hit here this evening. Now Chris Jimenez, the catcher, will step in. We'll see if Ron Washington tries to play for a run early in this ballgame. Remember last night when Leonis Martin led off the second with a bunt single, went to second on an error, and then to third on a wild pitch. He was at third base with nobody out, and the Rangers couldn't get him home. Of course, you don't know in the second inning that nobody's going to score until the 13th. I'm sure it would look nice to have that one run on the board early.
Oh, yes, it would. I really wouldn't be surprised if Martin tries to steal a base here in this situation.
Yeah.
Jimenez doesn't sacrifice bunt very often, but I think Wash is going to want to try and generate some offense here.
0-1 the count. Phelps a quick move that time to first. Well, Leonis has to dive back. Martin 18 stolen bases this year, 26 attempts. A lot of those caught stealings came early in the year. The Rangers as a team went through a streak where they just could not steal a base. Anybody. People were getting thrown out. And Alex Rios in there and Elvis Andrus in there. They were just the well was dry for stolen bases for a while.
The thing I like about that was they kept running.
Yep.
And if you're an aggressive base running team, you've got some base stealers on the ball club, you're going to continue to run because that's what base stealers do. They get thrown out from time to time. And just like anything else, you may have a little bit of a drought, but you've got to keep going.
1 ball, 1 strike to Jimenez. Yeah, the only way to prolong a slump is not do your thing. you know eventually you're going to get out of it if you have that kind of ability. 1-1 the count. Martin stepping off that lead at first. He's on that runway over there that the Yankees have made. Grounds crew put the runway in the landing zone down there at second. Gentle breeze here at Yankee Stadium, drifting out towards center field. Very warm and humid night. There goes Leonis, and the pitch fouled away to the right. That looked like a hit and run. Chris Jimenez trying to take the ball the other way, and he did, but just a little bit tardy with the swing.
Yeah, that was definitely a hit and run. Martin waited and made sure that Phelps was going to the plate. And you see Jimenez trying to hit that open hole over there on the right side. Pitch was just a little bit too high up out of the zone.
Well, moves the count to 1-2 strikes. Ryan McCann holding the bag against Leonis Martin. And the ball gets away, but not very far. I think Martin might have gotten stepped on by McCann, too.
Oh, he took that ball off the arm somewhere. It bounced and hit him.
Oh,
right there in the helmet.
Back of the head. Somebody answer that phone. The bell's ringing in your ears. Now the 1-2. Even with that pitch and 2 strikes, Jimenez tried to hit the ball the other way.
He's got a hole open over there on that right side. Might as well try and take advantage of it, obviously, if you can. If Phelps gives him something to hit, hopefully he can hit that hole, and all of a sudden you've got first and third with nobody out.
Phelps reading Cervelli's sign, a check of Martin at first. There goes Leonis. The pitch is hit that way, a base hit. Martin never hesitates on his way to third. And boy, what good execution there. And finally, Jimenez got a pitch away from him he could take that way. And he did exactly what he was trying to.
Perfect. Martin's going on the pitch, trying to steal second, not a hit and run. There were 2 strikes. So Martin takes off, and Jimenez gets a fastball away, a pitch that he can hit that way. He's been trying to go that way the entire at bat. This time was able to hit that ground ball in the vacated hole at second base. So the Rangers look like they're in business with runners at first and third and nobody out.
And Rougned Odor will come up now trying to get the Rangers on the board. Odor, a .273 hitter, is driven in 20. 3 home runs. First pitch to him is high for ball 1. Rougned last night 1 for 4, had a walk also in that ball game. Brings in a modest 3-game hitting streak. See, 4th among American League rookies with that batting average. Double play ground ball to second. Jeter turns it over, and in time it goes 4-6-3. In to score Leonis Martin, and on the double play grounder, the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
Well, this is the situation where Wash talks about it all the time, slowing the game down. With runners on the corners and nobody out, Odor wanted to get a pitch that he could hit either a ground ball or a fly ball to the outfield, so slow it down and not get too excited that, hey, I've got a runner at third base. Just keep it under control, and he did. He gets into a double play, but he gets that runner in from third base with less than 2 outs, and that's really what his job was in that situation.
With the double play, no RBI, but Rangers on top 1-0, and it takes him back to the top of the order for Shin-Soo Choo, and he looks at strike 1. Choo began things tonight by scalding a ball up the middle right to Derek Jeter behind the bag at second. 1-1. Remember, Choo had an 0 for 22 drought that was broken the first game in here. Well, that's the longest 0 for that he had in his career. Since then, though, he's 4 for 10.
You know, typically as a hitter, what you really want to do, you want to take those at bats in sets of 10, and that keeps it, just a little bit easier on your mind, if nothing else.
Centurinos talking to Rougned Odor. I'm sure he would have rather not hit into the double play. That's obviously, but he did get the job done, and take that positive and focus on that.
Absolutely, probably not the pitch that he wanted to hit, but like you said, he got the job done. There are certain places he's not supposed to hit it, and back at the pitcher's one of them.
And Choo caught looking at a called third strike. The Rangers are gone. They do get a run on 2 hits and nobody left. After 2.5, Rangers 1, Yankees 0. Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Now, clouds starting to roll in little by little over Yankee Stadium. Rangers broke up the murkiness with a run in the top of the third. They have a 1-0 lead as Yu Darvish gets ready to work to Francisco Cervelli, Brendan Ryan, and Brett Gardner here in the third inning. Cervelli, a .264 average. He's catching for the third night in a row with Mark Teixeira, the normal first baseman for the Yankees, on the shelf with a pulled lat muscle. Brian McCann is forced into duty to play first, and Cervelli is behind the plate. A base hit down the left field line. Beltre thought about throwing his glove at it. No. Cervelli cruising into second. Shoe gets the ball back in. So Francisco Cervelli picking on that first pitch. Shot a double right down the left field line. His 5th two-bagger of the year.
Darvish trying to get ahead of Cervelli. Wanted to go down and away, and ball ended up and in. Cervelli turns on it. Gets it by Beltre down the left field line for a leadoff double.
I was shifted over to play you a little bit in the hole, and you do that to me. What is the deal here? Adrian now kind of coordinate with his infield mates of where to go with Brendan Ryan up. And a chopper to the right side, that's going to get the job done. As on to third goes Cervelli. Brendan Ryan on the first pitch moves the runner along. So there's one out now with Brendan Ryan at third. And the top of the order coming up, Brett Gardner. Let's take time for a Mazda game break. Here's Dana Larson. Thank you, Dana. Now with Cervelli at third now and one out. Brett Gardner up. The Rangers are going to pull the infield all the way in. With the threat of rain, the Rangers trying to protect their 1-0 lead, and Gardner struck out looking to begin the game for the Yankees tonight. Takes that first pitch down and in for ball one. Gardner's trying to get into a position here with Gardner that he can go for the strikeout. Gardner better than the league average as far as scoring runners from third with less than 2 out. He's got Cervelli down there who doubled to start things off to second. That balk has been called on Darvish. That is going to score the run. Yu Darvish flinching, and Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, immediately calling Darvish for a balk. Right there.
Again, that indecision that we talked about last night.
Exactly. Exactly. No, Darvish with the balk. That ties the ball game now. It's 1-1. The Rangers, of course, with nobody on base now, back to their normal position. The 1-0 pitch. The big breaking ball dips in for strike one. Gardner with the average at .276 as he stands at home plate. Darvish back to him. Low and in. Rangers so far this year have now committed 5 balks. That's the first one that Darvish has had called on him. But a costly one here. Scored a run. Got the Yankees even on the scoreboard. 2-1, the count to Gardner. all the way to the backstop. The thing we talk about so often, the mound presence, body language, facial expression, it's not there for Yu Darvish right now. This is not a guy that is competing at his highest level.
No, it's not. And you saw after the walk, you saw him walking around slow. He had his head in the air. That's not that composure that he's had in his last few outings.
And Gardner, a drive to right field, going back is Rios. He is at the wall. That ball's gone. Brett Gardner with his 10th home run of the year, and the Yankees have a 2-1 lead. That's what can happen when you don't have command of yourself.
You don't have command of yourself. Sometimes you don't have command of what you throw up to the plate. And you saw the pitch before that. Went to the backstop. And that's the first pitch high up in the zone. This ball's supposed to be down and away. And it's the first pitch that Darvish has thrown up in the zone. Ed Gardner didn't miss it.
Well, here's Derek Jeter now for his second at bat. Darvish drops a breaking ball in for strike one.
There's that sound again, Buzz.
Yep. And in this ballpark, that sound from a left-handed hitter, you really don't even need to look. It's not staying in this ballpark. Pop foul, that will reach the seats on the first base side. Jeter now down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Home run total now for Darvish up to 11. 11 in 124 innings. Right-handers ready, 0-2 the count. Jeter waiting. Call, strike 3. Dale Scott ringing him up, punching out Derek Jeter. 2 gone.
Good pitch by Darvish. Jeter was probably looking for a breaking pitch in this situation, but Darvish nailed that outside corner down and away. Perfect pitch. Jeter was fooled on that one.
Yep. So. Not sure we really appreciated Dale Scott taking all that time to punch him out either.
No, those guys, that used to kind of get under my skin a little bit.
I can see why it would.
Especially if it's strike 3.
Yeah.
It's like, I know, but do you have to take so long to let everybody else know?
Jacoby Ellsbury takes outside.
I think the umpire that takes the longest is Tim McClellan.
Yeah.
And that's probably because he's about 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
And he likes to stand up and do it.
Right.
I really had to get used to that. But with that guy, you tended not to want to say anything to him. He was rather large.
The 1-0 pitch. And that is chopped foul at home plate. It's 1-1. Think about Tim McClellan. He'd be in the next inning before you find out what happened last inning from him sometimes. Good umpire.
Very good umpire. One of my favorite guys.
One and one, the count to now the sore-footed Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury struck out back in the first inning. Darvish trying to put a cap on this third, and the Yankees have taken the lead with a balk and a home run. 2-1 now. Darvish back on top, peering in from the signs. Right-hander with a high set and the 2-1 pitch. Good breaking ball. It's 2-2.
Darvish going down and in. Breaking ball to Jacoby. Perfect spot. Jimenez set up in there and he threw it right to the glove.
Next pitch is on the way. In the air to right field, not hit very well. Easy play for Alex Rios. That will do it. But the Yankees take the lead. They get 2 runs on 2 hits. Nobody left. We have finished 3. It's the Yankees 2 and the Rangers 1. .605 game, and the first 15,000 fans get a very distinctive fashion accessory. That's a fedora hat, courtesy of Coca-Cola. Make sure to pick up this stylish summer accessory by getting your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or as always, you can call 972-RANGERS. That's close. That lady right there has one that's a similar style, although Coca-Cola putting better hats than that out for the Ranger fans.
That's close, but no cigar.
No fedora. Now the Rangers now trailing by a run. It's 2-1 New York. Elvis Andrus leading things off against David Phelps. And he takes strike 1. Elvis lined to right field in the first inning. Hit the ball hard, but came up empty. Rangers with 3 hits. The Yankees with 3 hits. Difference, Yankees have 2 doubles and a home run, whereas the Rangers have 3 singles. Phelps winds and back to the plate. The high inside fastball. 2 balls and a strike. Phelps against the Rangers, 1-0 in his career, but a 6.14 ERA. His 3rd appearance against Texas, his 2nd start. It's a 3-hopper out to Ryan. A tricky hop, but Ryan stays with it and throws out Andrews. 1 gone. Brendan Ryan, really a shortstop by trade, but he has great hands.
He really does. He's very smooth defensively, whether he's at third or shortstop or second base. Got a tough hop right there, and you never know it. You didn't know what you were looking for. Made it look easy.
And with 1 out, Alex Rios will come to the plate. Rios had a base hit his first time to the plate. He was caught trying to swipe second with Beltre up there. Rangers used up their challenge. Ron Washington went out and couldn't get the call overturned. It was upheld by replay. 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, Alex, the average now at .304 as he faces Phelps. 1-1. Rios 1 out of 5 on this trip now. Rolls over on one and chops it foul by Gary Pettis down the third baseline. A ball and 2 strikes. Phelps into the wind, and the pitch to Rios. This one a little harder chopper, but still foul. Alex, oddly enough, has hit 3 of his 4 home runs this year on the road. He's hitting .305, so his average home and away just about the same. But the home runs have come a little more often when he's away from Globe Life Park. Lines one to right. Here comes Suzuki. Out number 2. And we talk about the short porch in right field quite a bit here at Yankee Stadium, and one of the disadvantages for a hitter is a line drive like that, where the right fielder has the opportunity to play more shallow than he would with a deeper right field.
Right, it makes that look like a routine ball to hit to right field. It's really not. In most ballparks, that right fielder's got to really come in to make a play on that one. It might even be a base hit in most parks. But with that short porch and right, it gives that right fielder an opportunity to come in about another 10, 15 feet.
Here's Beltre, and he takes the first pitch at the knees. A breaking ball from Phelps. It is strike 1. Adrian, a 2-hopper down to Chase Headley, his counterpart, back in the second inning. Phelps a long look in, now the right-hander with the 0-1. Mentioned this Monday night, but it bears mentioning again. Adrian has never hit very well here in New York at either of the Yankee stadiums, the old one or this new one. This new one's been open since 2009, but between the two of them, Beltre has hit only .225. He's played in 43 games now.
That's really strange.
Yeah. I would think this is probably the only city where you'd see him have an average like that. I don't know that for a fact. I'd have to go look it up specifically, but I can't think of anywhere else where Beltre has had numbers that low.
Yeah, well, if you had said there's one ballpark, what ballpark is that? I would not have guessed it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Or the old one, for that matter.
Now the 3-1 to him. That's shot up the middle. That is into center field, a base hit. Well, Beltre with his first hit of the night, a 2-out single, has him aboard for Jim Adduci.
AB looks like he hit that one off the end of the bat, but perfect placement. Rolls it right back up the middle for a base hit. You know, he's kind of scuffling a little bit. I don't know if you can really call it scuffling. He's still getting 1 hit a game.
Yeah. Well, it's scuffling for him.
Because I guess that means that I scuffled. I really scuffled because I didn't even get 1 a game. I really would have liked to have scuffled like that.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of folks would love to scuffle like that. There's some folks that had pretty good careers scuffling like that. You know, Beltre climbing up the all-time list in a lot of categories. And right at the top of the list, the guys who have fun playing. 0-1 to Adduci. Jim, a little topper out in front of home plate. He was thrown out his first time up. Goes the other way and slices it out of play down the left side. And Phillips with the advantage in the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Adduci 1 out of 11 on the trip so far. Got back into the lineup after a couple of months on the disabled list. That broken little finger on his left hand. Got off to a terrific start in April with the Rangers. Hit .462. Check swing. Had a lot of folks taking a couple steps toward the Yankee dugout. But Dale Scott said, no, just hang on a second here. We're not through. Our Fox tracker showing you it could have been, but it wasn't. Phelps with a 1-2 pitch, and it's popped up. Left side, Headley backpedaling out in the shallow left field, and in front of Brett Gardner puts it away, and that'll do it. Rangers get a 2-out single but strand a runner. After 3.5, it's the Yankees 2 and the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. It's on at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. Nothing beats having that part of the experience in a baseball game. Ice cream and having a great time at the ballpark. The Yankees come to bat in the bottom of the fourth, leading at 2-1. Yu Darvish will take on Carlos Beltran, Brian McCann, and Chase Headley. Breaking ball dropped in over the outside corner to Beltran. Carlos, a ground ball sharply hit down to first base, his first time up there. Darvish with the 0-1 pitch. Popped up behind home plate. Coming back is Jimenez, but that's about 6 rows deep. And the count moves to 0-2.
Jimenez having a little bit of trouble picking that ball up in this light sky here. This is probably the worst time of night and the worst backdrop you can have. So when that ball goes up, you can easily lose it.
Look like the same color as the sky when it goes up?
Yes, it really does. When it's, like this, sunset, you got some clouds in the sky. That's not a lot of fun. Not a good feeling when you know the ball's up in the air and you're supposed to catch it. Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, another 20 minutes or so, the lights will have their full effect. Popped up left side into foul territory. Adrian Beltre underneath it. That is out number 1. So Beltran out. And now Brian McCann. Beltran 0 for 2 tonight. McCann popped out to Rougned Odor his first time. Brian McCann has reached safely in each of his last 16 starts, either by a walk or a base hit. During that time, he's hit .309, so he's starting to turn things around a bit. Takes a breaking ball for strike 1. McCann 1 for 6 in last night's ball game. Darvish back to him. Now Yu has the advantage at 0-2. So after that hiccup in the third inning for Darvish, he's right back at it. He has straightened things around. He's a little more determined on the mound, or at least he looks that way, and that's what's important. Ahead of the count, 0-2.
He's done a good job so far of maintaining his composure and not letting it get away from him. You gave up a couple of runs. It's going to happen. You're going to give up runs. You just want to keep them to a minimum.
Could you tell, Mac, if a pitcher on the opposing team, whether he was in control of things or whether you had him on the ropes?
Absolutely.
By the way he looked?
Absolutely. There are some guys that would just give it away, that they were rattled. And, after a while, you knew exactly what it was that would rattle him. If it was, laying down a bunt, trying to bunt for a base hit, or stepping out on pitchers. We talked about that the other day. If you step out on certain guys, it would rattle them. They'd get upset. They didn't like that rhythm, their rhythm, to be broken up, or if you took too long in between pitches. That would rattle some guys. So I could absolutely tell.
Darvish with another 1-2 pitch. And another foul ball. Yeah, I think that idea of mound presence, and not just looking like you're a poker face, but not giving the idea to the opposition of what you think about yourself, how you're feeling about you, and just trying to keep that to yourself. I think that's really important for pitchers to try and maintain that calm. Poke to third. Beltre has to go off his glove. It's going to be no play as McCann reaches first, and what probably will be an error on Adrian Beltre.
McCann hits this ball the other way. You've got the shift on. Beltre's over and tries to go to his left and reaches and just goes off his glove. It almost looked like he might have been in position to be able to make a play, but as a third baseman, you're supposed to go and get everything you can get your glove on. And that was just a little bit too far out of Beltre's reach there, and goes off of his glove.
That will be an error on Adrian Beltre. And with McCann at first now and 1 out. The first pitch to Chase Headley is in and over for strike 1. Adrian Beltre, by the way, now has 10 errors for the year. Headley doubled to the gap in right center his first time. That's out of play to the left, 0-2. Chase Headley, the switch hitting third baseman, battling injuries most of last year and this year. Really took away from his position as one of the most sought after infielders in the National League. Check swing, and the breaking ball is down and in. The Padres the last several years entertained a lot of proposals for Headley's services from other clubs, and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't let him go, and finally the Yankees enticed him with Yangervis Solarte and a minor league pitcher to get Headley over here into the American League. 1-2 pitch from Darvish. Now 2-2. Headley, a second-round selection in the 2005 draft by the Padres. Made his debut just 2 years later. McCann, a very small lead at first. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's in the dirt. And the throw to second will not get McCann. McCann is able to advance on the wild pitch, but Headley is out on strikes. And with 2 outs now, Ichiro will come up.
Darvish going to the breaking ball on Headley. Bounces it. Just kicks away from Jimenez and allows McCann to get down to second base. They get the strikeout on Headley, but McCann gets down to second in the scoring position.
No, two-away. Ichiro at the plate. Suzuki was overmatched his first time. Darvish just did whatever he wanted to. Finally threw a fastball right by him for the third strike. This one hit to right center field. Rios over in the alley and makes the catch. Well positioned, Alex Rios. Ball hanging up for him. Side retired, no runs, no hits, an error, and one left. On to the fifth we go in Yankee Stadium, 2-1 New York. Tomorrow afternoon, right back here, Colby Lewis and Brandon McCarthy, a noon start on Fox Sports Southwest. Back home to take on the A's over the weekend. Then these Yankees come in next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And again, next Wednesday, the 30th. Get your tickets now because the Rangers are going to honor Derek Jeter in a pregame ceremony, his last visit to Globe Life Park. That'll finish out the month of July, and then Rangers open the month of August with a three-city, 9-game, 10-day road trip. Cleveland, Chicago, and Houston. Top of the fifth inning, J.P. Arancibia, the Ranger DH, to start things off. He'll be followed by Leonis Martin and Chris Jimenez. Yankees 2 runs on 3 hits. Rangers 1 run on 4 hits. They committed the only error of this ballgame. Arancibia, a fly ball to center his first time to the plate. David Phelps, first pitch, got him on the fist, and that ball fought off foul over the Yankee dugout for strike one. Arancibia, since getting back into the lineup in Toronto, is 3 for 20. Does have a couple of home runs. Takes outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. In his career, Arancibia with 9 home runs against these Yankees. That's the most that he has hit against any one team. 1-2 now. Breeze starting to freshen just a bit, drifting out toward left field. Still a very warm and humid night here in the Bronx. Game 3 of this 4-game series. Rangers and Yankees split the first 2. Rangers winning on Monday night 4-2. And last night in 14 innings, the Yankees walked off with a 2-1 win. Phelps into the wide, the 1-2. Now 2-2.
JP just looks like he's looking for a particular pitch in a certain spot, and if he gets it, he's going to let it rip. He's been taking some pretty aggressive swings since he's been back.
pitch on the way. Got him swinging. Phelps with his second strikeout of the night. Aaron Sibia goes down swinging. That's how the Ranger fifth begins.
Phelps wanting to go inside. That ball ends up running back out over the plate. Giving Aaron Sibia to swing through it for strike three.
Turned into a pretty good cutter.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was trying to do that, but
doesn't look like it. Cervelli was set up inside, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
A lot of times pitchers get away with that. The catcher is set up somewhere and they hit another spot and it works.
Yep. Especially the hitters peeking back there for location. Hot shot, a fair ball down the first baseline. It's going to be extra bases for Leonis Martin. Having trouble with it is Suzuki. Martin's going for three. The throw is not in time. Suzuki couldn't dig it out of the corner down there. Leonis kept on going, and he has himself a triple. His fifth of the year.
That's great base running by Martin. Watching the ball as he's coming around first base. Puts the fastball up in the zone, pulls it down the line past the drawn in McCann. And he just takes off. Now, as you see him coming around first base, he's looking and watching to see where that ball is. It's hard to just really rely on that third base coach. I know a lot of players and coaches say, hey, look at that third base coach. But even if that ball's in the corner, if you're running and you're halfway between first and second, you can look back over your shoulder and tell yourself, hey, I can make it, or I need to shut it down. You see Martin look over his shoulder and say, hey, I've got this. No need to look at third base. At the third base coach, Gary Pettis, he's under control in that situation. And you can be a very, very heads-up player if you just take the time to really look and just rely on your eyes yourself.
Well, the tying run now just 90 feet away. Leonis Martin in third, and Chris Jimenez, who singled his first trip to the plate, takes strike one. Yankees pulling the infield all the way in here in the fifth inning. A 2-1 Yankee lead, and with the threat of rain fairly imminent, Yankees trying to cut this run off. Foul tip by Jimenez, and Chris now down to the count, 0-2. A spot now where David Phelps has put himself in position for the strikeout. Might be one advantage a catcher hitting in this situation has. He kind of thinks along with a pitcher and catcher. See if he can lay off the strikeout pitch, which will probably be coming here shortly. A check of Martin. Did a good job laying off that breaking ball.
Plus, I wonder if it's easier for catchers to think along with a pitcher.
Well, some catchers no, because some catchers just call what they couldn't hit. So they, honestly, there were a few of them that just called that. You know, guy couldn't hit a breaking ball, and all he was going to put down was breaking ball. But you know, yeah, some of the catchers that were very good calling games, yeah, they were good in situations. It was easy for them, I think, to gauge what the pattern was starting to become for the opposition. 1-2 pitch. That is just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I know you saw catchers that did that.
Yes, I
called
did.
games like that.
Well, I can't hit this, so they can't hit it either.
That's right.
Wrong.
Well, as a base stealer, if you saw something like that, you got a pretty good idea what was going to be called.
Right. You know, and you get a great jump. I mean, other than third base, yeah, you know, you look for those things, and you get to know patterns of catchers and what they like to call, what they don't like to call, what they don't like to call with the runner at third base. So as a hitter, you're saying, okay, well, he doesn't block the ball very well, so you can eliminate that bouncing breaking ball.
2-2 pitch. This is popped up behind home plate. A play for Cervelli, and he makes the grab. And the old baseball saying, strikeout pop-up in that situation, and they got the pop-up. And Jimenez retired. There are now 2 outs with Martin at third, and Rougned Odor coming up.
Phelps made a pitch when he needed to make one. Jammed Jimenez going up and in with a fastball. Jimenez popped it up right there at the plate. Cervelli makes the play. it's one of those situations where as a hitter you do want the ball up because you want to try and get a fly ball to the outfield, especially with that infield drawn in. You don't particularly want to hit a ground ball, so you want the ball up in the zone so you can elevate it a little bit to the outfield. But that was just a little bit too high and too far inside.
Of course, when you get 2 strikes, too, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does. You've got to expand your strike zone.
Right.
You don't want to be there and get called out on a called third strike either. So when you get to 2 strikes, your strike zone has to expand a little bit.
0-1 to Odor. Rugnet grounded into a double play, but it got a run home in the 3rd inning. And that pitch in the dirt, boy, Cervelli doing a great job of shifting his weight and blocking that ball in the dirt.
Well, you've got to appreciate that as a pitcher. Cervelli's just all over the place. He just throws his body over there to keep that ball in front of him and not let it get to the backstop there and possibly give up a run. It's like a pretty short backstop, too.
52 feet from home plate back to the backstop.
Eesh.
2-0 the count to Odor. Phelps set. Now 2-1. Rugnet trying to increase his RBI total. It currently is at 20. Got Martin at 3rd, 2 outs. A 1-run game here in the 5th. All 3. If Odor reaches, Shin-Soo Choo in the top of the Ranger order would come to the plate. Phelps taking his time. Doing a little thinking before he steps back on the pitching rubber. Okay's the sign from Cervelli. Now 3-2. Odor trying to be aggressive, thinking that was going to be a fastball in that count, and didn't get it. Didn't get the fastball.
Phelps comes in with a nice breaking ball down and in to Odor. And this is one of the adjustments that he's going to have to make. He's going to have to learn how to recognize that breaking ball a little bit earlier. He's not getting the pitches that he was getting to hit in his first few weeks.
Right. Well, full count. We'll see what Cervelli and Phelps come up with here. Right-hander with a high set, payoff pitch. Got him swinging. Big strikeout. A pop-up from Jimenez. A strikeout of Odor. With Martin at 3rd, he is stranded. And we played half the ball game. The Yankees maintaining a 2-1 lead over the Rangers. Next Wednesday, a week from today, July 30th, the Dallas location on East Northwest Highway. Don't miss this chance to win great prizes and meet one of your favorite Rangers at Whataburger. Now, Yu Darvish still trailing 2-1. Rangers had a golden opportunity to go by the boards after a Leonis Martin triple with one out. Couldn't get him home. Well, the Yankees still leading 2-1. Francisco Cervelli will start things off. He'll be followed by Brendan Ryan and Brett Gardner. Cervelli doubled down the left field line to start the third inning. That's the inning that the Yankees produced both their runs against Darvish. 1 ball, no strikes. Cervelli, a .278 average after that 2-base hit. Five-game hitting streak now for the Yankee catcher. 2-0. Mentioned last night, Cervelli had a couple of stints on the disabled list this year. Most recently, he was on the 60-day disabled list and had a right hamstring strain that caused him to miss 55 games.
Wow, that's pretty bad when you pull a hamstring and it takes that long. That's a really bad pull.
Foul back, 2-1. I would think for a catcher too, that's a little bit tougher to come back from.
Yeah,
squatting and stuff.
Yeah, and I think they probably just wanted to put him on there for that long to make sure that when he came back, he was going to be back to stay. You can easily, with all the movement that you've got to do to try and block balls in the dirt, you're moving without even thinking. So I think they probably were just being very, very cautious with Cervelli in that respect.
Darvish gets a sign from Chris Jimenez. The 2-1 pitch to Cervelli. Darvish trying to crowd him and missed inside. It's 3-1. Cervelli batting 8th. He'll be followed by the number 9 man. That's Brendan Ryan, the second baseman. Darvish has not walked a hitter tonight. He has struck out 5 through the first 4 innings. Right-hander set, and the 3-1 pitch. Down the left field line again. That's going to be in for extra base. And Cervelli, back-to-back doubles for the Yankees. He leads off the 5th inning, the same way he led off the 3rd.
Darvish trying to get inside on Cervelli. Actually, he's trying to go down and away with a breaking ball, but it runs back out over the plate. Cervelli tattoos this one and drives it into the left field corner for his second double. Second leadoff double. Saw Darvish the 3-4 pitches before that pounding Cervelli in, trying to get him to look in, and then on that last one was trying to go away, but ran back out over the plate.
Yeah, that's the thing you don't want to do. If you've gotten a guy off the plate by working him inside, you don't want to make a mistake by throwing it on the inner half of the plate when you're trying to go away.
Right.
Well, here's Ryan, who in a similar situation got Cervelli over to third with a ground ball to Odor his first time. Darvish starts him off with a breaking ball. It is 0-1. Brendan Ryan, a .231 average, no home runs and 4 driven in. The clap of thunder heard off in the distance. Shows bunt, pulls the bat back. And the count evens now at a ball and a strike. And all of a sudden, flashes of lightning we can see back behind us. We see the sky lighting up just a bit. Darvish, a couple of looks at second. And the pitch is wide. 2-1 now. Breeze now is picked up considerably. It's blowing out toward left center field from home plate. And the crowd's starting to stir around. They see the lightning. They see the flashes off in the near distance, and they hear the thunder. A bunt attempt. And Ryan now down to the count, or even with the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
They're starting to scatter, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Don't see any rain yet.
2-2 is the count. Darvish will look back to second. Foul back to the screen. We'll try it again. A little rain starting to fall now. The folks that are not covered by the stands starting to move back. Probably feels pretty good to some folks.
It does.
Clears some of the humidity out of there. Darvish again set to work. Hard hit ball. Nice backhand by Beltre. Checks the runner back to second and fires across the diamond. That is out number one. Well, this time Ryan can't get the job done, so he's still at second. Takes the Yankees back to the top of the order, and the rain now is really coming down.
It looks like they knew something I didn't know.
And Dale Scott, the crew chief, says, all right, let's get the tarp on. Now this is what had been forecast for us. Some heavy showers. Duration, not sure, but the showers have definitely arrived.
They are here, and fans are scattering. Also got the lightning working at the same time.
And this is not a good time if you are like me and don't like lightning to be on the grounds crew.
I'm not too sure about anybody that likes lightning. You know?
It bothers some people like me a lot more than others. Well, the grounds crew quickly trying to get that tarp out. And the rain coming down in torrents here at Yankee Stadium. We're going to have a rain delay of an indeterminate length of time. Already the bottom of that dugout starting to pool up a little bit. Ponding of the water. Boy, that's a tough job to that grounds crew having to pull that tarp out after it gets that heavy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're struggling right now.
Yeah, this is not looking real good right now. We're going to have to call in some reinforcements here in a second.
Trying to get some air under to
get some lift.
Yeah, break that suction. Now they're going to have to go back the other way. And this whole time now, water is collecting on the uncovered areas. Well, you try it again. Thunder and flashes of lightning out in center field now. And the storm is right on top of us. And the grounds crew struggling a lot.
Wow. Something tells me they're going to be practicing when the Yankees go on the road.
Yeah, I think you're right. Boy, oh boy. It is pouring right about now. This is coming down. This is every bit as good a storm as we see back home in the summer.
Wow.
It is coming down in buckets. The old frog strangler. Shin-Soo Choo down there in the Ranger bench saying, well, I'm not going to go out and help him.
No.
Not when that lightning's flashing.
Wow, it's really dropping now.
Almost impossible from our vantage point. You saw that shot. That was from our camera up here in the booth. You can't see the field very well because the rain is so heavy.
It's coming down.
And the tarp still not anywhere near.
That infield's not doing too well right now.
It is underwater and going down. Man.
I don't think I'd like to be the grounds crew chief right about now. Not tonight.
I think they're going to have to ask answer a few questions after this whole thing's over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has turned into Lake Yankee Stadium. Look at that wind whipping the rain across and just pouring on the uncovered infield at Yankee Stadium. And the grounds crew now going back out toward the outfield again. They're trying to figure out a way to get this tarp on the field, but I think the horse is already out of that barn. Man. That thing's so wet now, even if it stopped raining, it'd be tomorrow morning before the thing dried out.
Yeah, this is really, really bad. In most new ballparks, I would have to say all new ballparks have a great drainage system, but there's no draining dirt. It has to dry out. You can put the diamond dry out there, but that just a lot of times makes it even more slippery out there. And the way this is looking right now, that's not going to be a very good mix.
No. You're getting all the diamond dry that's mixed in with the turf. It's coming up to the surface now and floating away. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure I've ever seen something like this.
They're not going to get that tarp out.
No.
There's way too much water on it.
Don't have a chance. They can't even empty the tarp now to get the water off it. Boy. Well, I hope they've got a good union, the tarp workers union, because they're going to need some support.
They are.
And they have just washed their hands of the whole thing, so to speak. Not even going to try it. And rain continuing to come down and just weighing that tarp down. But they can't take it either way, either on or off any further. No, the situation, other than the tarp being a mess and the infield being submerged, Yankees leading 2-1. Play was stopped here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Yankees had Francisco Cervelli at second base with one out. Brett Gardner was coming to the plate, and the deluge started. That was the end of it. They are really scuffling with that tarp now.
Wow. I don't know how they're going to get that water off.
I don't have any idea. It's not going anyplace.
No, it's not rolling out of the side, and if they continue to pull it, they're just going to add more water to the infield.
Right. I don't know if there's an answer to this problem.
Rain still coming down pretty good.
Well, the grounds crew doing all they can now, but it may be too little too late. Rain continuing to pelt down, and they're trying it again. They're getting it on the tarp on, but all they're doing now is covering water
with more water
and mud. About an inch of water on top of the infield right there, and now they've just stopped.
Wow.
My goodness.
That tarp's not going to go anywhere.
No, it doesn't look like it, does it? And the grounds crew about out of gas, and I can understand why. They've been wrestling that 800-pound gorilla tarp, and it's not going anywhere. Well, they got some seniority out there now. You can get this thing underway.
He's going to show these young guys how to get it done. Here he goes.
I think they might need a few more people than that.
Yes, they do.
Get this tarp going.
Each one of those handles needs about 3 people on it.
Yeah. Boy. Amazing. Simply amazing. You guys saying no way. This is not going to work.
No, that's it.
This was not how it was drawn up in our instruction manual.
Not how they practiced it time and time again.
Nope.
And I guess most people don't realize that grounds crews, they practice getting the tarp on and off quickly just for instances like this.
Yep. The rain has let up just a little bit, but it's still coming down very heavily. They're getting all the personnel called in from everywhere in the stadium. They're bringing people in. What they need is Kurt Darkert, our producer, to go down there and run this thing. He'd get it all organized, wouldn't he?
I hear he's on his way, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's not in our ear anymore. We're waiting for him to come out of that dugout somehow to save the day.
He's either on his way down there or on his way to get something to eat. I'm not sure which it is. He'd get them in shape. He'd whip them right into the right spot. And they're still struggling with it, so they're gonna be a while on this. Until they figure out which end is going to move. Boy. And they're going back the other way. And you pull back the tarp, and all you have is about 3 or 4 inches of water on the infield that has gone nowhere except straight down.
Wow. Got about a quarter of it infield that hasn't had any cover.
Yeah. Yeah, everywhere from second base over to the first base foul line and around home plate, first base line. Water staying right on top. Meanwhile, the fans getting a little different kind of entertainment, not what they were expecting. I don't think when they came out tonight. They are back under the cover and of the upper stands, watching this occur out on the field. And some hardy souls. And in case you're wondering about the disposition of this ball game, it is an official game. Yankees leading 2-1. We have finished 4.5 innings. The home team ahead, so it is an official game. Whether the umpires would wait, they normally wait at least an hour before deciding if there's a weather delay, before deciding to postpone it or that they'd be able to play. I'm not sure what they do in a situation like this with the infield, the field itself, as in bad a shape as it looks like. Now, umpires will certainly ask for guidance from the ground crew as to what could happen, if they could get it back into shape to play, how long it would be, would it be playable from the standpoint of safety,
right?
And then make a decision on that. And here they go again.
The grounds crew, they know this field better than anybody, of course, so they know how much water it can take and what kind of things they can do to make this field playable, if at all, tonight. Oh, we're losing somebody under the tarp.
I think we did. Yeah, I think somebody got covered up.
They had some good momentum going, too. But you've got to stop that tarp because that tarp is so heavy. It could be dangerous if somebody gets caught underneath there.
Well, 2 went in and 3 are coming out. There we go.
Oh, we still got one in there. Trying to keep it up. Looks like they'll make it this time.
They're trying. Give the ground crew that. They are trying. They are not going to give up.
They got it.
Well, they got the tarp on. Now the question is, did it do any good?
Well, what are they going to do when they take it off?
That's exactly. Mike Maddox and Tim Bogar looking at things. I'm not sure. I can't remember seeing a spectacle like this before with the ground crew having that much trouble. I've seen guys get flipped up in the air with the tarp and the tarp gets wind under it. And flips the guy up in the air or something. But I don't think I've ever seen where they couldn't get the tarp down.
We've seen, I'm sure we've both seen the tarp flying everywhere. And they go get it and get it back on, but not get halfway across the field and it gets stuck.
Well, the rain continuing to fall. Now, with the tarp in place, we're going to have a delay here. It's going to be of undetermined length, but it will be a little while, even if they get the tarp off. The rain's still continuing to fall. We're going to take you back to the Fox Sports Southwest studios and show you a new piece that has come out, a tribute to the next Hall of Famer. That's Eric Nadel, who won the Ford C. Frick Award. We'll keep you updated from Yankee Stadium. And now back to see the tribute to Eric Nadel.
but you just have to be careful. But you see the umpires, kicking it around, moving it around a little bit there. The players are going to have to be careful. It's not only the dirt, but the grass is still wet. So balls are going to skip a little bit differently. It's going to change the way the game is played just a little bit, because if you think about it, you hit a ground ball, well, it's going to be on that grass, and that grass is wet, so that means the ball is wet. So when a fielder gets it, you may not know where it's going.
And C.B. Buckner there with the head groundskeeper, and what they came across, it looked like Walsh came across a spot right there where the leadoff would be from first base going toward second, and said, wait a minute, this is way too soft, too soggy. And so I think now that the umpires are trying to figure out what they want to do with that part of the field, Walsh raised some concerns, and so did Joe Girardi, as to what could be done to make that a little bit better. I'm not sure that there is an answer for that. You've already thrown the diamond dry on there as best you could.
Right. I don't think there's an answer. And remember, this part where they are right now is the part that didn't get covered until the end.
Right.
They were able to get the tarp on partially, but there was about a quarter of the field left that didn't have the tarp on it until the very end. All the rain had come down, and this is that part right there, right around first base.
And Yu Darvish over there, and Jim Adducci, the Ranger first baseman tonight, they are checking it out, because that's the area of the field where if they had to team up on a play at first base, they would both be susceptible to the conditions, good or bad.
Right. I mean, if you really look at it, everybody is, because that's first base.
Right.
So ground ball, fly ball, you've got guys that are going that way, and they're going to be in that area. So everybody is really at risk at this point.
Yeah, the only parts of the field that we know are in good shape are the mound and the home plate area, because those had small tarps put on them immediately.
Right.
And it didn't depend on getting the biggest tarp over the entire field. So those were okay. Doesn't mean they're in the best of shape, but they certainly are playable.
Right.
But the infield, like Mac was telling you, I mean, that's just, I don't know how in the world they got it even to look this good.
No, when we were looking at it, it was, in my mind, no way they could get it looking this good, and in a short amount of time. A lot of times it takes a lot longer for the field to get in shape, and you see some of the guys out there, Elvis and Beltre and Adduci, trying to see exactly what they're going to be up against, and you see Beltre trying to plant his feet to move, laterally left or right, and that's going to be the biggest issue, because when a ball's hit at you, you just react. You don't have time to think, okay, hey, the ground is a little wet, I've got to be careful. You just react.
It looks like you're down at the beach in the wet sand. You try to, it looks smooth and it looks fine,
right?
Looks compacted, and you try to run or something in it, and all that loose sand is gone, and it just, your foot soaks in.
It really does. And after about 2 or 3 minutes of them running around on it, you're going to have a lot of craters and potholes that could make it very interesting to field ground balls.
Right. Ron Washington talking with Dale Scott. Now the crew chief, Dale Scott, is going to go over and confer, I think, with the grounds crew again. So powwows going on all over the place. And Dale over there, and he will be the one in charge of making the decision. It's up to the umpires as to whether this field is playable or not. And Dale may be going down to discuss with someone else about the possibility of this field getting better or staying this way. The rain, the good news is the rain has subsided. They expect some more later on, but there is enough time if they can get this field playable to get this game in before the rains come again. And that would be very important, because the Rangers don't come back to New York. Tomorrow is the last game here for the entire year. And if this game were put off, well, it's a complete game now, so it doesn't matter if it were called off. It would just go in the books as a 5.5 or 4.5 inning game, but with the Yankees leading. But the Rangers would love to try and play this thing out to give themselves an opportunity to get a W.
They really would. They've got their best pitcher on the mound going, and it would be a waste if this game was called here at this point. So Darvish has been warming up. It looks as though he's going to be the guy to go back out there if play resumes.
Which in and of itself is a little bit, well, I'm not going to say odd, because this whole evening has been odd, but you don't normally see a starting pitcher go out and work 4 full innings, go into the 5th, and then have an hour-plus rain delay and come back out. That's not typical. And Yu Darvish obviously understands the gravity of the situation that he's in. He's not going to risk injury, but at the same time, he knows the ball club's depending on him to try and get a W.
Right. This is his job, and it's tough. And you're right. You don't typically see that, a rain delay of over an hour, and that starting pitcher still come back out there and continue pitching.
A shot of up in the lights, you can see just a little light rain falling intermittently now. And we will wait and see what Dale Scott comes out of his tunnel with a decision. Ron Washington trying to figure things out.
You know, I'm really not sure just how eager Joe Girardi or Ron Washington are about putting their guys back out there on that field.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at both ball clubs and the amount of injuries they've already had. I don't think they really want to risk anybody else going out there under these conditions and getting hurt.
And a lot of the injuries to their veteran players, the older players, Adrian Beltre, for example, for the Rangers, have been leg injuries. And this would seem to be the worst condition that you could go out there if you're at all susceptible to a leg problem.
Well, you look at Beltre, you look at Chu with the ankle, you look at Rios just coming back with his ankle. There are a lot of different ways that guys can get hurt under these conditions.
Elvis, protection on his head in case somebody throws a ball with it. That glove can catch anything.
Even backwards.
Yep. Well, the guy's just kind of standing around waiting to see what's going to happen here. And, what we saw from Adrian and Elvis over there testing the field, they were not real thrilled with what was going on footing-wise. So, and I'm sure the umpires are taking that into consideration. If you're thinking about, well, do they think about tomorrow being a day game? And the answer is no. This is one game at a time, and you take care of tonight's game. And if it goes until 4 or 5 in the morning, so be it. That's just the way that you have to work things. That's protecting the integrity of the game. But, again, if there's any kind of a doubt about the playability of the field, they will err on the side of caution, I'm sure, because of player safety, if nothing else.
If you take a look around at the infield, it looks nice from far away, but trust me, when you get down there on it and push it around, it's exactly what Buzz described. It's like being on a beach. You see the sand all nice and smoothed out and pretty, but when you put your foot in it, you sink a little bit, and those spikes on the bottom of their cleats are only 1/4 of an inch long, so they're not going to get much traction with those spikes or anything else for that matter.
But again, the mound and home plate area are okay. They were covered by smaller tarps, so that's not a danger. And, when you talk about rain situations, that's the first thing you look at. Is the mound slippery? Is home plate slippery? Last thing you want to do is have some guy throwing 93 or 94 miles an hour out there slipping. Hitters would not appreciate that.
No, not at all. And even though the batter's box and home plate were covered, if you look out just down that first baseline, when you come out of those boxes, it's wet there, and that's where guys are trying to dig in and get that traction and that momentum going to first base.
I think you see Elvis talking exactly what you were talking about, Mac, about trying to plant that foot and having nothing to stop it from sliding.
Right. It's really, if you look at it, it's kind of like going out there and trying to field a ground ball on ice without skates.
That wouldn't be a comfortable feeling.
That's not a comfortable feeling.
Well, while we have some time here, why don't we go back and recap how we've gotten to this point. 2-1 Yankees leading. Go back to the third inning. Rangers got a leadoff base hit from Leonis Martin. He went to third as Chris Jimenez rounded a single to right field. So that's first and third. Nobody out. Then Rougned Odor came up, grounded into a double play. And that scored Martin to give the Rangers a 1-0 lead. However, the Yankees came back in their part of the third as Francisco Cervelli punched a double down the left field line. He went to third base on a ground out. So he was at third with 1 out. And Yu Darvish started into his motion right there and stopped. And Dale Scott immediately threw the hands up to balk. And right after that, misplaced fastball, and Brett Gardner launched one into the short porch in right field to give the Yankees a 2-1 lead. And that's where we stand as the rain came down with 1 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees leading by a 2-1 score. Chris Jimenez all all dressed up, nowhere to go at the moment. He's like to get back behind the plate, call some pitches for Yu Darvish, and see if they couldn't get Yu out of this fifth inning, give the Rangers an opportunity to score some runs.
Yeah, this is the tough time for a ball player. You start a game and you get a rain delay. That's one of the worst things that ball players have to deal with. Once the game starts, you want to just play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it to stop, and you have to wait, and then 2 or 3 rain delays. And once that game starts, you want to play it and get through it without any delay. And the sitting around waiting, not knowing, that can be hard. And then especially the older guys. Once you get it, once you get things warmed up and ready to go,
right?
You shut it down for an hour and a half, you might be finished.
Yep. A little tough to get back out there and try to loosen back up. Well, they're calling in the reinforcements with the carts. And I don't know what those carts are bringing in, but we're going to find out here shortly. Got a lot of scurrying around. And while we have a few moments here, let's head back to the studio. Dana Larson has a Mazda game break for us. Dana? Had left the field a couple of moments ago, walked down into the tunnel. Don't really know what he was going to do down there. I assume consult with someone else, maybe back at MLB offices since they're here in New York, and see what the opinion of the higher-ups is.
That's probably a safe bet. Typically once the game starts, the call belongs to the umpires. But I think in this situation, Dale Scott, the crew chief, wants to make absolutely sure before he makes a call one way or the other that it's the proper call.
With the scheduling the way it is too, Mac, we talk sometimes about, well, the schedule's this, the schedule's that. It makes it very tough when teams outside of your division only face you one time at home and on the road. And you don't have any room for rainouts or delays or anything like that, because now you've got to, if you have a rain postponement, you have to go back on an off day to that city, and that really messes things up. So the scheduling, while trying to accommodate interleague play all the time, has really had some drawbacks, too, as far as the teams being able to reschedule things easily.
Right. It really does throw a wrench into things. It used to be where you would travel to a team outside of your division twice a year.
Right.
And then in your division 3 times a year. And a situation like this, they pretty much say, okay, let's just do it next time in town, which is typically later on in the summer when the weather's good and there's not much of a chance of a rain out. So things have definitely changed with the new schedule.
Just one more thing to have to consider, I guess, if you're waiting around, what you might do. And right now, the Rangers, it is, I'll reiterate, it is an official game in that the Yankees, the home team, have the lead. And we've completed 4.5 innings. So this would not be a case of, well, we'll just stop tonight and pick it up again tomorrow. That's not how that works. That has to be a suspended game, and this does not qualify as a suspended game unless they feel that the tarp not being on the field created a special circumstance. I suppose they could say it's suspended, and we'll play it that way tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think they might. I think that's, if you look at it, if the tarp had gotten on the field would be playable and there wouldn't be an issue. So it being here in New York, obviously that's going to be something that's going to be looked at very closely. So I would think if they didn't play, it would probably be a suspended game.
That would be highly unusual. But again, in Yankee Stadium, there's not much that's highly unusual. You see the darndest things.
That you do.
And the captain has seen a lot of the darndest things over his 20 years in the big leagues. Derek Jeter. And again, folks, I want to remind you, Rangers are going to honor Derek Jeter next week. The Yankees come into town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday And Wednesday, the 30th of July, the Rangers have said they are going to have pregame ceremonies honoring Derek Jeter's last appearance at Globe Life Park. So you want to get your tickets, you go to TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS and arrange for some seats to come on out and salute the Yankee great Derek Jeter.
That's definitely going to be a special night. Derek Jeter's been a special player for 20 years, and not just for the New York Yankees, but I think all of baseball. He's represented baseball very well.
I kind of put him in the same category as I did Cal Ripken. Great ambassadors while they're playing the game, and certainly Cal Ripken has kept that up in retirement as a player. And I'm sure that Derek Jeter's going to do the same thing. Mariano Rivera in the same vein, doing a lot of great things since he retired. While he was playing, he was doing a lot of great things, but that just hasn't changed for him.
No, it hasn't, and it won't. Those things will continue. That's just who he is.
Nick Martinez there talking with Alex Rios, Elvis Andrus, and Rougned Odor getting in on the conversation.
Now, that's a strange shot right there, but that tells you right there, Nick Martinez used to be a infielder.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with the fielders now. He's not hanging out with the pitchers. He's hanging out with the fielders.
Well, you got to keep all the lines of communication open. You know, you want to get your union card validated every once in a while for whatever you want to be involved in. Well, while this goes on a little bit, we're going to take a little break here on Fox Sports Southwest. We'll come back to Yankee Stadium and give you an update as best we can. Right now, a short timeout. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Stadium. Mark McLemore and Steve Busby with you, and Rangers continue to wait, as do the Yankees, to see what the decision is on whether we can resume play here tonight. We've been in rain delay since 14 minutes until 9 o'clock Eastern time, so about an hour and 10 minutes or so. Yankees leading Yu Darvish and the Rangers by a 2-1 score, and when we stop play, Francisco Cervelli, the catcher, was at second base with one out, and Brett Gardner was the hitter facing Yu Darvish. And if we can continue the game, we'll pick it up from that point and see how it goes after that. The Yankees come into play tonight trailing the Baltimore Orioles by 4 full games in the American League East. Yankees are tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for that second spot. Rangers, meanwhile, 21.5 games off the pace set by the Oakland A's. Rangers at 40-60. And they are fighting for their lives, trying to stay out of that cellar in the American League West at the end of the season. They are a couple of games behind the Houston Astros right now. The Rangers showing signs of late of playing a little better brand of baseball. At least they feel like they're making progress in that regard, and that's what's important. Ron Washington has said many times in the last few weeks that the assignment that he and his coaching staff have is to help these guys improve and make sure that they don't take losing as a foregone conclusion in each ball game.
Right. You don't want to create that culture of losing. That's something that has changed over the last 8 years, obviously, with a couple of trips to the World Series and 4 postseason appearances in a row. That culture has changed, and you don't want that culture to come back. Even though these young kids are here and they're learning at the major league level, you want to cultivate that atmosphere of winning and playing the game of baseball the right way. I think there are enough veterans that are still here, that are around, that have been on this ball club, in this organization, that have won. And Adrian Beltre said it yesterday. He's not going to allow that. That's right. One of those things that they're watching out for, looking out for, and making sure that things don't turn around and start going the other way.
Yeah, and that's insidious. You start having that kind of a situation in the clubhouse and on the field, and you don't have to look back very far, about 2006, to see how bad that was for the Rangers. Always teams that could blister the ball all over the ballpark and had halfway decent pitching but couldn't win.
Right.
And people were wondering, well, how? And then Ron Washington came on and said, look, you got to play fundamental baseball if you want to win. And some people scoffed at him. Some people still scoff at him. But the point was proven when guys like Michael Young bought into the idea, and some other folks came over, and they put winners on the field by fundamentally being sound.
Right, and that's just how you play the game of baseball. And a lot of people were against some of the things that Ron Washington was bringing with him from Oakland, saying, well, hey, this isn't small ball. We don't want to do what Oakland did. And Wash finally said one day, hey, well, where has Oakland been pretty much every year in postseason? And this is how we've done it. And, it's just not, okay, this is how Oakland wins. That's how you win baseball games no matter what organization.
That's how good teams win.
Absolutely.
The rain's starting to fall a little more briskly now, and whether or not this will have a bearing on the ball game restarting or not, now they're going to bring the tarps back out and cover up home plate and the mound. So that's just precautionary. The rain, you said off and on, it wasn't supposed to be in the area for another hour and a half or so, but apparently somebody forgot to tell Mother Nature that. She decided to bring down the rain at this particular moment.
I don't think too many people can tell her what to do.
No. Well, you can try, I guess, but it never works out very well. The grounds crew now, looks like they're going back for the tarp. Take 2 on the tarp. See what happens this time. See if they learned anything from the first time out there. Well, one good thing, it's not raining nearly as hard as it was the first time. And grounds crew is coming out. Let's go. John Rhadigan is right down there on top of things. John, are you going out for the tarp too?
If they need help this time, I'm out there. I'm just going to grab a handle and pull it out here. The umpires, as you can see, are coming right past me, as our grounds crew people, and they have the umpires have just informed the grounds crew we're waiting on a phone call. Now, obviously, I don't know who they're waiting to call them back, but they're waiting for someone to call them back. The grounds crew says, well, should we put the tarp on or not? And you can see the answer was affirmative.
Yeah.
They're putting the tarp on. They aren't expecting the really heavy rain until around 11 o'clock, but it's obviously raining pretty good right now. So out goes the tarp, and there is talk down here that the solution might be to take a full layer off the infield and reapply that. They said it's something that could be done tonight if it's not raining. Once the tarp goes on, I think that bet is off, guys.
All right, John, thank you. They're waiting on a phone call. Huh? Sure hope they get it.
So was whoever they called not in?
Apparently not. Yeah, they may have left a message.
That's a message.
Yeah. Call us back soon if you could. It's kind of important we get this game decided one way or the other. So the tarp going on, and they have a much better time this time without the heavy rain. Oops. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon.
A little bit. There's a snag.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, they learned from last time. They had about twice as many guys trying to pull it across and they get a little Bronx cheer going up for the grounds crew. Very fitting. Well, without too much difficulty this time. They get the tarp down and covering the entire field. And the rain continuing to fall lightly. Joe Girardi discussing things with a couple of members of the umpiring crew. Dan Iasonia and Quinn Walcott talking with the Yankee skipper. Well, while we have a moment, we'll fill you in on tomorrow. AT&T Uverse wants to remind you that, assuming we get this game going again or get it called one way or the other, Colby Lewis back on the hill tomorrow afternoon. It's a noon start, Texas time. Brandon McCarthy making his second start in a Yankee uniform. He came to Pinstripes from Arizona and won his Yankee debut against Cincinnati last Saturday. So a couple of veteran right-handers, Colby Lewis and Brandon McCarthy, tomorrow afternoon. And tarp on, rain continuing to fall lightly but steadily. And the umpires are still waiting for the phone to ring, I guess.
It's going to be interesting trying to figure out who they called. And they've got to wait on a call back. I'm glad hopefully this isn't the people they call for replay advice.
No, actually, if they called the replay command center, they would have had a decision real quick. That's manned by other umpires, and I think left up to them, it would have been either thumbs up or thumbs down with not much delay. And they've gotten that replay down pretty good. Very rarely anymore do you see anything over a minute and a half, minute 45 on a decision on the replay. So from that standpoint, it's really worked out well.
It has. I like how they've gotten to it and really streamlined it, really. It just doesn't take anybody. Everybody's used to what they're supposed to do. Managers are used to doing it, being in sync with their bench coach and their video guy. They've definitely done a really good job on that, getting better and better throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, and if the big thing was to get the calls right, which I know it was, they've done a great job with that. And it does have some limitations, just like any other technology would in the game. But for the most part, it has been, I think, a real benefit to the game.
I really do, and I think that's really what it is. It's about the integrity of the game and getting the call right. And, I really like the fact that umpires aren't having an issue with it, having their calls overturned, because it's really, truly about getting the call right, and you just go from there.